don't you have a nice younger brother somewhere? Can you ask him?
He lives in some faraway planet. I don't even know in what part of the galaxy.
When Beerus had the Super Saiyan God dream or premonition, was he talking about Super Saiyan 4? This is a question that is across the entire fandom right now as we get the Super Saiyan 4 official adult transformation in episode 19 of Dragon Ball Daima. And I mean, right on its head, it looks like Super Saiyan 4 is heavily inspired by Super Saiyan God. They both have red eyes, they both have red hair, red fur for Super Saiyan 4. The aura that comes out of Super Saiyan 4 when he charges up, when he transforms, or when he supercharges his Kamehameha, this is the ki that he uses, and it looks very similar to the Super Saiyan God ki. So the question is this what Beerus saw in his premonition? Well, unfortunately for the anime and the movie, this can't possibly be it, because in both of those, Beerus wakes up immediately and he talks about having the dream. The dream had woken him up and he was dreaming about something called a Super Saiyan God. This is when he has Whis go into further detail looking and searching for the Super Saiyan God or the Saiyans, and that's when he finds out that under Beerus's orders, Frieza actually did destroy the planet of the Saiyans, but he also destroyed the Saiyan race. But then he finds out that one Saiyan made it out alive, and this Saiyan actually defeated Frieza, which shocked Beerus. That is when both in the anime and in the movie, Beerus tracks down Goku on King Kai's planet, challenges him, and Goku, who can only go to Super Saiyan 3 at the time, he ends up losing very, very fast to Beerus as he's overwhelmed by Beerus's power. This is unfortunate because we did find out in Daima that Goku did have the power of Super Saiyan 4 at least unlocked. Whether that is something that stays with him after Daima or not, I mean, it's obvious that it doesn't, but how that's going to be explained, that's a completely different conversation. So when it comes to the anime or the movie, it doesn't seem that the timeline adds up. The reason for that is because Dragon Ball Daima takes place a year after the events of the Buu Saga. It's only been 12 months since Dragon Ball Z's ending, and that is when we get Dragon Ball Daima. That's the reason that I told you guys that in this time, Vegeta has unlocked Super Saiyan 3 and mastered it on his own in the Gravity Chamber. While Dragon Ball Super takes place 4 years after Dragon Ball Z, in the time between Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball GT. So the timing is completely off, and it is officially completely debunked with this information when it comes to the anime or the movie. But what about the manga? In Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 1, Beerus destroys a planet because he does not like their cooking, and so in the beginning of the Dragon Ball Super manga, Beerus is actually traveling around fully awake in the cosmos doing what he does, and he destroys the planet, and the destruction of this planet actually reminds him about something, and this is where he informs Whis that he just remembered about him. So you remember someone that appeared in this prophetic dream of yours. That's right, an ultimate warrior that was able to entertain even me. His name, the Super Saiyan God. The Super Saiyan God. Or something like that. Maybe it wasn't. My. Let's go home and you can take your time remembering. Yeah, let's. And this is where Beerus ends up going back home, talking to the Oracle Fish, confirming about the Super Saiyan God, confirming about the Saiyans, finding out about Super Saiyan, all that stuff. So even in the manga, it is obscure whether or not Beerus is talking about Super Saiyan God that we know or something else. He doesn't even know that's the name. He is remembering a dream that he had in the past. So it is possible and feasible that in the manga's continuation, in the manga's timeline, Beerus actually had this dream a long time ago when Super Saiyan 4 awakened, when Super Saiyan 4 was officially released. And so when Beerus felt Super Saiyan 4 while he was sleeping, he had this prophetic dream and then woke up to it, completely forgot about it until just now, and then now he's remembering about it, letting Whis know, and this is where he tracks down Goku and the rest of the Z Fighters because he is looking for the Super Saiyan God, although to him, he may be thinking about Super Saiyan 4 from Dragon Ball Daima. The main thing that people are talking about when it comes to this theory is that in the imaging of Super Saiyan God, the one that Shenron talks about, it looks identical to Super Saiyan 4 from Dragon Ball Daima. I mean, you can't look at this and tell me that's not Super Saiyan 4 from Dragon Ball Daima, and to be honest, this possibly could be what they use as a frame of reference for the new fusion that we are supposed to be getting at the end of Dragon Ball Daima. So if the fusion looks like this, that'll add more fuel to the fire that Beerus is thinking about Super Saiyan 4 in the dream, and Shenron is talking about Super Saiyan 4 when he's talking about Super Saiyan God. But then that would mean that what is Super Saiyan God? Why is there a ritual for Super Saiyan God? All that stuff. It would be very, very confusing. And every instance that we see in the anime or in the movie, this Super Saiyan God of old, he looks very similar to Super Saiyan 4 that we've seen in Dragon Ball Daima. And it looks more like a Vegeta version, meaning that to me, the fusion could possibly look more like Vegeta than anything else. This is where the problem comes in with this theory, in my opinion, and that is that if I am using the way that Super Saiyan God looks as he's being described in the anime and the movie, and he looks similar to Super Saiyan 4 and Daima, but then I'm disqualifying those two things because of the fact that the timeline doesn't make any sense, and then I'm going back to the manga, and the manga shows us that it is possible with the timeline that Beerus had that dream, but then when we're looking at the scene where Shenron is explaining this stuff about the Super Saiyan God, we don't see him at all. I mean, I can't just cherry pick information. To be honest, the most plausible reasoning behind this Super Saiyan 4, Daima, and Super Saiyan God theory, and having any connection at all, would be if the creators of Dragon Ball Daima are looking backwards. And it doesn't make any sense that in Dragon Ball Super, at the beginning of Dragon Ball Super, they're thinking about Dragon Ball Daima, but it makes a lot of sense in Dragon Ball Daima if they're thinking about Dragon Ball Super and how well they can connect Dragon Ball Daima to Dragon Ball Super. So if at the end of Dragon Ball Daima, say something happens where it ends with the defeating of Goma and then Beerus wakes up, then we'll have our definitive answer as to how plausible this theory actually is. But ultimately, again, it's just a theory and it just doesn't make any sense to me. But you guys are talking about it and I wanted to give you guys my 2 cents. But let me know what you guys think in the comments.